Hey, real quick, we just want to let you know that we're doing a free giveaway for a Nintendo Switch Lite. Now, the deadline is going to be on March 22nd. Now, how you can enter in on this is that we have it on our Discord. You can join the Discord, become a cool kid, and you can submit by reacting to the post. That counts as one submission. But if you want a second submission, you can boost the server. Depending on how many boosts you give, we'll add as another submission. At the end of it, we're going to go ahead and put everybody's name into a random names generator, and it's going to select a random name, and boom, you could be the lucky winner. So we hope to see you there. If not, we hope that our Discord members enjoy the giveaway.
Hey, paisanos!
My name's Jeff.
What kind of nonsense is this?
Guess what?
It's showtime.
Who's responsible for this?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my underground lair.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
I ought to beat your brains in. I think I will.
What's good, baby? Welcome to the show. It's me, Zach, and with me is...
Charles.
Hey, Charles. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing alright. How about yourself, man?
I'm okay. I had to work today. It was interesting.
Yeah, you were telling me a little bit about that. How about you go into some detail there?
So, we missed a week of work because of snow. And so our company is like, hey, we will loan you out 20 hours for free, except it's not free. There's a catch. You got to work at least 20 hours on a Saturday, but it doesn't have to be on one day. They're giving us 3 months to actually, work up to 20 hours, which is a good deal. And for me, it's even better because I don't have to work full 20 hours. I get paid by commissions. So for me, it's like 9 or 10 jobs and then I'm done. And I can easily knock that out. But I had a customer today, the one customer for Saturday, and it turns out to be the most difficult customer I've dealt with. He's one of those customers that likes to follow you around and tell you how to do your job. And I'm going to just say now, if you're one of those people who follows your pest tech around and likes to tell them what to spray and what not to spray and how to do their job, I'm going to tell you this right now. That technician's not ever going to like you. Ever. Ever, ever, ever.
Well, they might. I mean, if you just don't do it, but it's definitely one of those things, like I was saying before, it's definitely one of those things, though, where if there's an expert, I guess if you've done the job before, then it's fine enough to, say, well, yeah, I've looked around, I found this out, I just don't have the chemicals. But whenever it turns into, you don't really know anything about the job, it's better to let the expert be the expert on it. Not even necessarily that anyone's going to hate anyone, but it's just that, the expert's an expert for a reason.
Exactly. And I actually have a story that kind of reflects this whole thing. Is I had a customer one time, and I don't do his service anymore because we got into it pretty bad. Not that I ever fight my customers. I usually get along very well with almost all my customers. And this guy, though, he would follow me around. He would make me spray things twice. And he would stop me in the middle of what I'm doing, move furniture out away from the wall, which, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that you're doing that for me, but you should have done that before I got there. Because now you're making me having to stop and wait for 2 minutes to, do this that you want me to do. And I only got 30 minutes before I have to move on to my next appointment because, you're not my only customer for the day. Then they would sit there and try to make me spray things that I'm not legally allowed to spray. Like, hey, can you spray down that drain? Like, no, sir, I cannot. That is completely against the law. It is a label law violation. I do not want to lose my license. And then it just got to the point where he was just telling me how to do my job. And he would do this every time I came out. And this happened maybe 6 times. By the end of it, I got so fed up with him and I said, let me ask you something. What do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I work for an Intel company. I'm like, so you know nothing about pest control? No. You never went and took the exam and studied for it and got your certification, all that? No. And you don't know when's a good time to be able to spray during the day, like morning, noon, and night? No. Then what do you know? Don't tell me how to do my job, and I won't tell you how to do your job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely, there are just times where that kind of, I guess, brashness on the part of a customer is not appreciated. Now, I understand from a customer's perspective, because they're paying for it, they're doing, like, they've got somebody in their home, but at the same time,
yeah.
it definitely boils down to, like, trying to get a job done and then trying to get out of there.
Yeah, and I have no problem with the customer following me around, because like you said, you're in their home, you're violating their privacy is what you're doing, and they're allowing you to come in and walk around their privacy. So I can understand being followed, or them just kind of sitting in the background, kind of watching me, making sure that I'm not doing something I'm not supposed to be doing, or looking at something I'm not supposed to be looking at. That's completely understandable. But when you start following me and telling me how to do my job, that's when I've got an issue. But anyways, that was my day. It was only one appointment out of, the whole day. And then I, left, went to Walmart, bought me some new stuff for hygiene products and some stuff for animation, and that's it. That was my morning. I woke up around 5 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I was like, I'm just gonna stay up and play some games and chill for a little bit.
Get the day done. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. I do have some things here real quick before we get into our segments. I just want to give a plug to the Discord. We had a movie night not too long ago. We were watching Willy's Wonderland, and we had a pretty good turnout for the movie night. We had several people join us, and we all streamed Willy's Wonderland, and it was a fun time. We all watched it for the first time, like, you go to a movie theater and just chill and watch it. Nobody was being super rude and talking throughout the whole movie. It was just a really good time, and I just kind of want to promote that on here about the Discord, why it's, a perk to join, is that you get, other things to do besides just listening to the show. The other thing I'd like to announce is that Alex, one of our members on the Discord, who is also a guest on the show, he is now an admin on the Discord, and he's earned that role. He's done a lot for us. He's been very helpful, very supportive. So we want to thank you, Alex, and welcome to the team.
Indeed. Welcome.
I also want to talk about Valheim. I don't know if anybody's been living under a rock, but you need to try out this game if you haven't yet. It's only $20 for the game on Steam, and this game is amazing. It's a lot of fun. Me, Charles, and Alex, we've started up our own little private server, and we've been knocking it out pretty well. We got to third boss, and that was quite a challenge. We just kind of cheesed it, really. We kind of had to.
I think we did it the way that, like, the only way that you really can with the gear that we had.
That's true. That's true.
Like, because I guess if you think about it, like, you can get up to 10 people. That's probably partially how they design those bosses almost, because with him, he's just such a big SOB. He moves quickly. Like, anybody who hasn't gotten to him, you'll see what we mean.
Oh, yeah. What was his name? Bone Mass? Was that his name?
Yeah, his name was Bone Asshole.
Dude, he was a bitch. Fuck that dude.
He was. It was it was an experience. It basically, it was just a slog. It's you're basically fighting a giant booger.
Yeah, he's constantly, and you cannot use, and he throws he like pukes up poison, lets out poison, but you have to be physical with him. You have to actually go up to him and physically hit him and just wail on him. You can't, stand off in the distance with an arrow and, or with a bow and just keep shooting him with arrows. It doesn't work like that, and that's what makes it even harder.
Yeah, but, to be fair, he has a pretty well-defined pattern of attack, though, so it's like a little bit trial and error. It's just the poison that sucks ass.
Yeah. So, Valheim, great game. It's a lot like Minecraft, or, how would you describe it, Charles?
I would definitely say, think Minecraft-esque. You have a lot of great building options. If you're not much of a fighter, then you can still definitely take your time going around, just collecting resources, building stuff up. But if you are the combat type, it's actually very much a combat kind of focused game in terms of progression. So getting into it, like, there's a little something for everybody. If you have, like, a friend that they don't like to play, those kinds of games because they don't like to battle, just say, well, hey, if you just want to chill at the house and do the farm and do this and that, then that's cool too.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, I want to say it's a little bit hardcore just because there's almost constantly things attacking you depending on what stage of the game that you're in. Mm-hmm. But really, you get the gear, like, you can take care of it pretty easily. And most things, as soon as you build a wall, they're too stupid to know that you're on the other side. So
yeah, and when they do start attacking you, it's not like you're going to be completely overwhelmed by that point. It's just more like, all right, fine, I guess I'll deal with this real quick so I can get back to doing what I'm doing. Stupid gray dwarfs. Jeez.
Yeah. The little things called gray dwarfs in the game, they're pretty constant in terms of like just bugging you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll come up to you to pick a fight, and then when you turn around to actually try to attack them, they're like, oh no, and then they run away, and then you're like, no, you come finish what you started. Come here.
We've actually, I hate to say it, but we've started a little thing where it's, we don't even use our weapons anymore. They show up, one of us goes, bully them! We just start punching the crap out of them.
Start punching the crap out of them, kicking them.
It's kind of sad in its own way, but it's kind of cathartic because they just bother you all the time.
It's like, I'm going to need you to bite down really hard on that rock there and just let me curve stomp you, please. But that's all I had to say about Valheim. And I didn't have this on my notes originally, but I need to add this in. I can successfully say that I'm doing really well now on jump puzzles and Gunfire Reborn, and I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, no, you've definitely, I remember the first time I brought you to a jump puzzle, it like you were getting so freaking frustrated in that game. And then you actually beat me doing one of the jump puzzles the other day, so hey, yeah, good on you.
Yeah, so I'm finally doing it. Now I've got to figure out the jump puzzles in the 3rd level, which has been a pain in my ass, but that one, that one's kind of a pain in the ass as it is. So, but anyways, do you have anything, Charles, before we move on into our segment?
Nothing too crazy. I basically, kind of put in my 2-week notice at my job. I've been out of the job for a bit. It's been kind of nice. I've been getting some other little project type work done. Mainly at this point, it's just kind of waiting until, some vacation stuff happens before I really look into doing anything else. I've got the money put back that I can comfortably do that. So, yeah. For me right now, it's a lot of hurry up and wait kind of stuff. Like, I picked up a couple of online, contracted jobs. One of them in which, it's like with Omni Interactions, it's basically pick up a project and then you're working on the project for however long that project lasts. Yeah. I've held off on grabbing anything there, though, because, again, most of the stuff they've had so far starts on, around March 15th. And March 20th, I'm planning on going on vacation up north, to see some family, so I really don't have the time. I'm really not going to have the time to invest in that job. So it's like, okay, well, I'd rather not skip another vacation, because, that's always what I end up doing is just skipping vacations.
Just as long as you say happy birthday to me on the March 15th.
Yeah, okay, I will. Just, you better remind me on March 14th, because I'll probably forget, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, so far, been doing some, Rev transcribing audio. Basically a bunch of boring crap. Been doing some video games, though, trying to get back into working out. That was one of my downfalls with the last job that I had, is just that, you're so mentally exhausted. You get home, and you're sitting there, and you're like, I should really do my workouts. Then I'd look down at, my dumbbells, and I'd, look at my workout playlist, and I'd be like, do it later. I'm tired. That's just the thing, though, right? I used to work a lot of really physically demanding jobs. Yeah. And there's one thing that I can say about that is that I'd get off work and I'd still go to the gym or I'd still do my workouts. Because I don't know, I don't get physically tired super easily. Mm-hmm. But whenever I get mentally tired, it's just yep, I'm done.
Yeah. I know what you mean about that, though.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense though, because when you're mentally tired, you just can't work up that drive to like force yourself to go and do whatever. But if you're physically tired, it's like, I can keep being physically tired for a little bit longer.
I'm kind of that way with my animations, mainly because it's been taking me so long to actually get to where I feel comfortable finalizing an animation. Like I told you before we recorded, I've been through I re-recorded or reanimated one episode 9 times and still didn't come out the way I wanted it, but I'm progressing and learning certain body movements as I go. But when it actually comes down to it, when I get ready to actually want to animate, I'm sitting there pumping myself up throughout the whole work day, and I come home like, I'm too tired, I'll do it tomorrow or something. Just trying to find that drive or motivation when it's that time is the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it definitely that's definitely one of those things that it kind of pulls itself into that realm. Is it's easy enough to kind of ignore just feeling like a little bit like, I'm sore from working out yesterday, but gosh, I don't know, it's like whenever you get off work and you're just or whenever you stop working on anything and it's just been like a mental slog, like that's where it really starts to get difficult. Now, I will say on that same thought process, though, part of the reason why it was so easy for me to go to the gym before was because I was living up north on my own. And to take a shower, I would have to go into my my landlord's part of, the building because my shower didn't work. And they, instead of getting it fixed, they were just kind of like, oh yeah, you can use ours. Which I didn't mind that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not angry at them for that. It was easy enough to do, but it also made me feel weird. Because even though they didn't mind, it's still me going into, my landlord's space.
yeah.
And so I got the gym membership, and it was like, okay, so I'll just start taking a shower at the gym from now on. And that way, it was kind of like it would force me to have to go to the gym if I wanted to take a shower. And it was a really good motivator. It was very, very easy for me to keep up with going to the gym regularly because, if you don't want to stink, you got to go to the gym. And that's something that to me I can't abide by. It's just like stankin'.
I know what you mean. I've gotten to that point now where it's like I'm in a position where I can't really take showers at the moment, so I have to take baths. And there's something different about taking a bath versus taking a shower. You feel like you can't get fully clean, and I think it's just because you're soaking in your own filth. So that's why I kind of went to the store today. I was like, I'm going to buy some bath bombs and some other stuff, some body oils and stuff like that, and maybe that'll help out with, keeping me smelling fresh rather than smelling a bit of my stank, You
could always also get a little bidet, you know what I mean? Have that little jet shoot up in you.
I would love to have a bidet. I'm not gonna lie.
Help clean you out a little bit more.
I would honestly love to have a bidet. No joke.
I've thought about getting one. I'm not going to lie. It's one of those things though where it's where we live in the apartments. I don't want to have to turn off the water line or anything like that and then get it hooked up. I know you can just turn it off on the toilet, but at the same time it's well, what if I forget to fucking take it off whenever I move out? Do they just keep my bidet?
This is ours now.
Yeah. We're gonna start putting these in every apartment.
And raise the rent.
Exactly. I wonder how much they could raise the rent for putting a bidet in your apartment.
I guess it depends on the type of bidet. If it's just one of those add-on bidets, or if it's an actual toilet/bidet.
Yeah, I guess so. There are the self-cleaning ones that I guess after you use it and you're gone for a few minutes, I guess after 5 minutes it automatically puts out a little bit of water to clean itself off, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
But then there's the little mechanical ones where it's just you press a button and it gives you a little jolt and then you scream and you cry for a minute because you're not sure what happened. But then after a while you probably get used to it, I'm sure.
Yep. Well, I guess with all that said and done, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Mo. You better come right over. You're missing one of the biggest things in your life.
Fun? What do you call that fun? That was boring.
All right, and with that, we're going to get into the things you need to know.
Yes.
So, first thing on my list here is, actually, this is from one of the videos that YouTuber Z Frank put out fairly recently. If you've not looked into him, I would definitely recommend it. He's got a lot of very funny animal-centric videos. But he did one fairly recently on tardigrades, or water bears.
Water bears.
And yeah, water bears are these little tiny, like, multi-celled organisms, but they live mostly in moss. Like,
Okay.
they have actually been found to be super, like, I don't even know if super describes it very well, but they are very, very resistant to almost everything. Like, they've brought one into the vacuum of space, left it out, like, for a couple hours, brought it back in, like, put a little water on it, and the thing was just fine. They can survive excessive heat, excessive cold. Basically, they're like the little, like, I want to say they're like the little Terminators of the world, or, you know, little immortal, weird creatures. But they're, like, you know, they're these little tiny, squishy, goofy-looking things. I would definitely say to look them up if you have never seen one. But the thing is, though, is that what I was never aware of is that they actually have little claws. Like, so, but they're like these teeny tiny, like, molecule, not molecule size, but, you know, like on the molecular level, like you can't see them with the naked eye. But they've got little claws, and they also have, like, these little needle protrusions that come out of their mouth, and some of them are predators, like, they will eat other microscopic things. So, I just, like, I was kind of, like, watching that, and I was like, wow, because I think it freaks me out, because the fact that it's, like, at this freaking, like, molecular level, you've got things that apparently exist that are, that, like, I don't know, like, they look like little teeny tiny animals. Like, it's very weird to me, because most of the time you see, like, a creature like that, it's like they'll say, oh yeah, it's not actually a creature, it's an amalgamation of a whole bunch of different like fungus or something like that just happens to look like it's moving. In this case, that's not so. That's what's so weird about it.
Joe's like, no, I'm not having this right now.
Yeah, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like, I really can't wrap my head around it. They're very interesting little creatures.
Did you have nightmares about them?
No, surprisingly, I think they're cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, like, I'm terrified of them or anything, but I am saying, however, if there was a giant water bear, we'd probably all be fucked.
I think so too. That would scare the shit out of me. So here's my fact. Humans have been performing dentistry since 7000 BC, which makes dentists one of the oldest professions in the world, which makes them mouth wizards, the worst kind of wizards of all.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think about it. Like, back in the day, if they tried to take a tooth out and then your mouth got infected and the person, like, died, people would probably think that, like, you cast, like, a rot curse on someone's face.
Can you imagine, though, doing dentistry back then and they had the little mouth suckers, just like a straw that somebody else is sucking on?
I mean, to be fair, there was, like, surgeries that they did back in the BC times. I know about. I don't know about the dentistry part, but I do know that for some surgeries, they did actually have a quote-unquote a boy with an extraordinary lung capacity was one of the requirements for some of the surgeries.
Oh my god.
So it was literally just like an assistant, like, using
Come
a
here,
straw.
boy. Come here, boy. I want you to take the straw. I want you to start sucking out all this blood, okay?
But Dad, it's infected.
No. You're in the family business now, boy. You gotta suck this blood out.
Did you have to do this when you were little?
Everybody had to do it when they're little, boy. Now go ahead and suck that blood out.
Oh god, that's disgusting.
It is. That and you know what's funny is that you mentioned surgery. Is my next fact is about surgery, but I will wait until I hear your next fact.
Yeah, you better.
I'm gonna.
So, going in line with surgeries, one of the things that I can tell you from whenever I used to work sewing is that there's a thing. There's a thing in sewing that it's called a top stitch, right?
Okay.
So the top stitch, the point of it is that you put the right side or the top side of two things together. Then you stitch them together, so that way whenever you fold them apart, they're in one nice. They're in one nice even piece. You'll see this a lot in shorts or your shirts or something like that. You can look up on the top of your shirt, right next to your head, and you'll see where that's been top stitched together.
Okay. Let me look at the shirt. Hang on. Let me look. I think I see it. I think I see it.
But yeah, a lot of those types of things are put together just with what's called a top stitch. But little do people know, there's also the very seldom talked about bottom stitch, which is mainly just kind of there.
Sign me up for that.
Make you feel dominant. Yeah. It's mainly just there to make you feel dominant about yourself, make you feel better about the fact that you're sewing.
Can't have the bottom without the top. Honestly, if you were still working at that one job and I was one of your employees, I guarantee you would be so fucking frustrated with me by the end of the day.
Yeah, you say that, but I can't tell you the number of people that we got, and this is no offense to them. It's it's whatever your learning curve is, but it's definitely one of those things that there are some people that, and it's not that they're unteachable, but it's that they're unteachable because they just don't care.
Right.
That's usually the biggest problem that you run into in any kind of a training position, is that you'll have people that'll come in and they're just there for the paycheck. And depending on what you're trying to get them to learn, you can't do that. You can't think of it that way.
No. You're there to do a job and to do it right.
Yeah, I mean it happens, but
the way I look at my job is and it's the same way working in pest control. You have some of those guys that come in, they're just there for a check. It's like this week when they announce, hey, we can give you 20 hours or loan it out to you, but you have to make it up on some Saturdays for about 3 months. We had technicians complaining left and right, saying, oh, I don't want to work on my Saturdays. And I try to explain to them, look, normally you always have a Saturday and Sunday off. They never ask you to come work on weekends. We went for a whole week without work. They're giving you 20 hours as a loan, and all you have to do is just work a couple of Saturdays and not even a full Saturday. And that's all they're asking for you. And you still expect them to pay you even though you made no business throughout the whole week? Money, you need to make money for them to pay you. That's how it works.
Yeah, you can't, it's one of those things where it's sad, it's kind of sad, but it's true, but, companies don't really keep reserve funds a whole lot in case of things like that. They can't just pay you for nothing.
Exactly. And the other way I look at, if you're working a job, you want to be the best that you can be, or at least have a passion doing what you're doing, be damn good at it. That's when I do pest control, I perform. I put on a show for my customers, and I want them to see.
Oh, come on now, man. We
know
what you do in the back alley.
No, I mean, when I do it, I let them see that there's passion behind what I'm doing, and as long as they see a passionate technician who's actually he's doing what he's doing and he likes doing it, then they're like, man, this guy's good.
I'm sorry, but that just makes me think that you're going into someone's house and you're like, yeah, I love killing bugs.
No, what I do is where the real performance, when you're inside, you want to really kind of stop, even though you don't want to. You kind of stop and look down with your flashlight, and maybe carry some extra stuff on you to kind of make it look like you know what you're doing, and then you just kind of lay out some extra stuff that they don't ask you to do, and it's just kind of bonus perks. And when I'm outside, I'm listening to music while I'm working, so I start to kind of dance as I'm working. Not really dance, but
you're grooving. I get you.
Yeah, you could tell that I'm grooving at that point. And whenever I get my spider dust mopper out, I'll sit there and twirl that thing like a baton as I'm walking around looking for webs and stuff. And people are like, "Man, dude, you really put on a show when you're out there working." I'm like, hey, I'm good at what I do.
I like to kill bugs, man.
I like killing me some bugs.
I
I like killing bugs. Ain't nothing better.
I dream about killing bugs all day. But,
It's the closest I can get to being God and smiting them.
I used to tell people, because people used to ask me, what made you want to do this job? I'm like, well, this is the closest thing to a Ghostbuster I can be. And it still kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, yeah, you got the like very Ghostbustery setup there.
Yeah, and I just walk in people's house going, na 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 na, ba na 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 na.
Then they throw a fucking vase at you and they say, get out.
Alright, so my next fact is, ancient Roman surgeons were trained to block out screams of human pain. There was no doctor asking you if you felt on a scale from 1 to 10, from 1 being happy to 10 being dead. This was invented later to make you think that they actually care
10
about
being
you.
dead?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you believe that? They were trained to, Roman surgeons were trained to block out human screams. So how did they do that? Just like put their mouth over their face, or put their hand over their mouth, like they're like screaming like, oh, shh, shh.
I like to think there was at least one of the surgeons that the guy went, oh, just started doing that shit. Like tries to make it like an calm down, and starts like putting his hand over his mouth over and over again. Like the surgeon just gets pissed and like more than anything. But yeah, I can imagine they probably just like, I don't know, would take like beeswax and put it in their ears, or maybe like put a stick in the person's mouth and say, okay, if you feel like you need to scream, just bite down.
Here, put this rock in your mouth, a really big one that you can't get back out. And then we'll have to...
Oh god, that hurts my teeth just thinking about it.
Here, drink this alcohol. You won't feel any more pain after this. That's probably how they did it.
Yeah, probably it's just get the person hammered.
Oh yeah,
or I feel like that would be the solution to a lot of things back then. Just get the person hammered.
Or you could do it the Three Stooges style and just give them the hammer in the head.
Yeah, hammered one way or the other.
Exactly.
Take care of it.
All right, what's your next fact there, baby?
All right, my last one here. It's a little bit out there. Basically, my last fact comes from back, whenever I was in like school. We talked about this briefly, but it's how fetishes come to be.
Oh, this is gonna be
and
good.
It's kind of interesting because typically you'll see one of 3 reasons. It's either A, which is pretty common with people who have, like, say, foot fetishes, for instance, is something that was present at childhood. So in other words, for a lot of people, it's, especially if you had wooden floors and say your mom was coming to feed you or to do this or that, then you'd hear like heels, or you'd hear like, someone stepping across the floor. And what ends up happening is that it's basically a reward system. Like that, like this is the easiest way to think of it.
Yeah.
Is that something happens, it leads to something good, and then like as a result of that, your brain, just like with any animal, starts to put the two together and saying like, oh, this equals pleasure also. It's kind of weird. But it's almost like, I also have heard from people that they had that because, like, quote unquote, whenever they were little, if they asked to do something from someone, then it would be like, oh, like, yeah, sure, but you need to, like, could you give me a foot massage, like, if I'm gonna let you do this, or could you do this, or like, could you do whatever? And it almost creates that because it's like, depending on like how often it happens, it's just like your brain just starts saying, okay, me doing this equal good thing. So it's what do you call it? It's like conditioning is what it is. It's like a weird type of conditioning, but it's what happens. Then there's the other most common one, which is what I personally like to just say, it's a missing piece. So it's a fetish that developed because of the fact that you didn't have it at all when you were little. This is typically where you'll see a lot of people who have like say the diaper fetishes, or the people who like to act like they're kids, is probably because they didn't have a great childhood, or maybe not really a childhood at all.
Yeah.
And so it's almost getting that replacement for getting that replacement for what they missed out on whenever they were little. So it's one of the, definitely one of the I want to say it's one of the sadder reasons to have a fetish, because it's like it's just something that people never had much of. Like Michael Jackson is definitely one who comes to mind. And I don't even know if I would say that he was fetishizing it. It's very hard to make like that argument one way or another nowadays. Like I know that and that is a big argument. It's like, was he actually a pedophile, or did he just act like a kid because he never had a childhood? Like I'm not on the up and up on that. I'm sure like that there's probably a few documentaries, and I know there's one that was the most recent one that I missed, but still that's not what I'm getting into. That like is literally just kind of what happens there, is that you get that kind of thing where it's just people who missed out and it comes to be. And the last one, which I find this one to be the most interesting, is crossed wires is what it's called. Because your brain is kind of based in electricity, you actually do have, like, if you were to put your fingers together, so your first knuckle.
Okay.
If you were to put your pinkies and, ring finger, middle finger, and first finger, like, put all those together, and even your thumbs, like, to the first knuckle, and you, like, just make that little shape with it, then that's essentially, like, you can think of that as being, like, the inside of your brain, kind of.
Okay, yeah.
And it's slightly spaced out a little bit, and that's where your corpus callosum comes into play. But there's, obviously that's where, like, motor function, a whole lot of, like, your, like, actual, like, functionality comes into play, is in that kind of a space in your brain. So the way that you can think about that is that on one side you have, like, motor function, and on the other side, and this is a very, very gross oversimplification, but it's kind of how you need to think of it. Like, think of one side as motor function, then think of the other side as having, like, somewhat of your likes, or your fetishes, or your this or that on it, or your pleasure center, I guess you could say. And a way to think of that is essentially that just like you have, again, this kind of goes back to the foot fetish, because I think it's the most common. Like, obviously you get people that are into, like, armpits or this or that, like things that are a little bit more odd but that you never hear about. But it's that, like, that pleasure center is very close to, like, the motor control function for where your feet are, quote unquote, in your brain. Again, gross oversimplification, but it's essentially that, like, you get these weird back and forths chemically or electrochemically, and it's just kind of your brain's like, okay, this equals good now.
I was having a conversation with Kevin one time about fetishes, and I asked him, I was like, do you think it's possible that certain fetishes, like, and I'm going to bleep these out for the sake of the audience, like fetishes and other things like fetishes, or I can't help but feel like, do you think that some fetishes are a result of a mental illness?
I feel like they could be, like, but at the same time, they're still going to be a result of one of those things that we kind of just now discussed.
Yeah.
Because the fact that it's, like, again, it can be just like a chemical malfunction, like not even a malfunction per se, but it's the fact that in your brain something triggered that makes you for some reason see that as being, like, good. Now, I will say that also falls under the taboo rule, though.
Right.
That you have people that can develop fetishes just because, quote unquote, it seems so wrong.
Yeah.
And that usually comes about as, like, I think the simplest way that someone could put it is, like, that's the degeneracy rule. That if you're overindulging yourself sexually, like, a lot, then it almost becomes like you have to get it, you have to find, like, things that are more and more out there because the fact that you're overindulging in what you like right now. So it just kind of comes into, it just kind of makes sense, I guess, that if you're overindulging constantly and you're finding like what you like, you don't like as much anymore, it's probably, just because you're overindulging. And then like you start to say like, why is this doing it for me all of a sudden?
Right.
And it's probably just because you've kind of worn out those chemical receptors for what you did like. So that at that point, that's where it just kind of becomes, maybe take a break from, the horny jail for a little bit, and then you'll probably be right back where you want to be in terms of like what you actually enjoy.
Go mentally detox yourself and balance yourself back out, please, because you're getting a little out there now, champ.
But no, then there are some of them that like people like they say it's a mental illness, but it almost turns into like it depends on how you act on it. Like if it's a fetish where it's like it's still between two consenting adults and you're not hurting anybody and you're not gonna like mentally take a toll on anybody else because of what you like, then I don't feel like anybody can really judge you for it. Like, it's kind of like I said, is I understand where people that are, say, into diaper fetishes, I understand where they're coming from because, again, it's like probably a product of like how they were raised or something like that. Or it could just be because of like whatever other random reason. I can't speak for people who have certain interests.
And when we say fetishes, it doesn't have to... And I just kind of want to make this a note out there for the audiences. It doesn't have to be anything sexual at times. It's usually, it can be anything that's satisfying to you.
Exactly. You have some people that like, and they'll say like it's not sexual, and you'll have people that'll be like, oh yeah, right. And it's like, oh, I'm not one that I can say what it is for someone else.
Right.
But essentially, to me, it can become like that kind of a problem whenever it turns into you're going to lengths and you're possibly hurting other people or you're causing discomfort or harm to others. Like that is the point where I would say it does kind of turn into a little bit of what we may call mental illness, just simply because the fact that it's like you've obviously lost a humanistic element there somewhere along the way.
Right. I agree with you on that. I can keep talking about this kind of stuff for a while because
it's fine.
It's super fascinating. Like that's what I've always wanted to go into is like psychology and just talking about that right there. You can sit there.
That could be a special episode kind of thing. We might do that if people show any interest in more in-depth discussions about that kind of stuff. Then yeah, I'd have no problems.
We don't even have to talk about fetishes. We can just talk about different things when it involves psychology.
Yeah, that would definitely be something. Let us know if you want a more, I guess, serious like discussion type of segment or episodes like that. We'll see what we can do.
A critical thinker episode.
Yeah, something like that.
So my next fact here is Canada eats more. I don't know. Before I continue this. I don't know if this is true. This is something that just came up, and I was like, I've got to put this on the episode. But it says, Canada eats more macaroni and cheese than any other nation in the world, and just like my lactose-intolerant body feels about dairy products, it finally reflects how I feel about Canadians. I love you, Canada. Please don't hate me. I don't know. If you met my son loves macaroni and cheese. He probably can out-eat me on macaroni and cheese anytime. Like, it's amazing how much
it's actually really funny. When I was little, I did not like macaroni and cheese at all. Now I'll eat it, but it's like, I'm kind of like, if it's not like fresh macaroni and cheese, I could take it or leave it.
It's funny, I love macaroni and cheese, but the one that I love, I don't know if it's just because my mom makes it, but every time I go visit her, she makes her macaroni and cheese, and really all it is just Velveeta cheese with the shell noodles, but I don't know what she does to it, but it tastes amazing, and I keep getting more and more of it until I'm just like, I should have had 4 servings of macaroni and cheese.
Mama, please, I don't want anymore.
My stomach's really gonna hate me later for this.
So's my toilet.
Zach, 3 hours from now is really gonna hate me.
That's terrible.
But yeah, that's all the facts I've got. So,
yep. Yeah, no, definitely. So I would say I think it's about time to move on into the news segment.
let's do it.
Good news, everyone.
It's called fake news.
News team, assemble!
And that's the way the news goes.
Oh, God, you guys ready for the news you can't use?
Disgusting. Yes.
Here's what I got for news. Lawyer gets stuck in a cat filter mode during a Zoom trial, and he says, "I'm not a cat." That's the.
Oh yeah, no, that freaking like that thing right there. It's funny how many memes that produced.
I know.
Once it came out, I mean, it's one of those things though where I feel so sorry for that guy.
I do too. And it's all over TikTok. Well, it was at the time when it was huge, but yeah, this was hilarious.
It was everywhere. You know that the other lawyer jumped on that and was just like probably rode him on that, like just because the fact that it makes it easier for him to be able to be like, yeah, this guy don't even know what he's doing.
Time to discredit him as much as I can. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. That was so it was so embarrassing in its own way. I feel like it's just like I said. I feel really bad for that guy.
I do too. And he's just trying to do his job. But
yeah, exactly.
Here's what it says, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase some things here. It says, a Texas lawyer technical snafu during court hearing conducted on Zoom has led to a lot of catty comments. That's because a cat filter covered attorney Rod I don't know how to say it, Pontom's, I guess, or Pontom, face during the proceedings, leading to an amusing exchanging with the judge, Roy B. Ferguson. Mr. Ponton, I don't know how you say this guy's last name. I believe you have a filter turned on in your video settings, Ferguson. He noted, you look like a cat. And then the guy's like, the attorney's like, can you hear me, judge? And then he says, I can hear you, but I think you have a filter. And the guy responds, I'm not a cat. And that's pretty much the exchange. But it turns out that the reason why it was like that, all this happened, was because he had to use his assistant's laptop. And apparently she had a filter on there. And that's why. So
yeah, I mean, I figured that's what it had to have been, is that it was just like that he was using, either he was using someone else's computer or someone else was using his. And because Zoom, it's a pretty recent thing for a lot of people, that having to use Zoom for everything. So I can definitely see not knowing how to undo like a filter or something like that on it. Hell, I've barely used Zoom.
I've only had to use Zoom a couple of times, and I barely even know how to use it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure, I could figure it out if I messed with it more often, but, thankfully I haven't really had to go there too often yet.
Yeah, if companies started using Discord more, yeah, I'd be using it like crazy.
I don't know, man. I don't think I want them seeing my Discord profile picture.
I've actually been setting up a Discord for my job where I work, and they're gonna actually set up a meeting to see if this is something that they want to incorporate in their business. So it's gonna be interesting.
I don't think it would be a bad thing, but I will say I wouldn't blame any company if they didn't, because Discord's not exactly made for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Discord's like a more modern, you remember forums back in the day where you can get on a message board and just post a topic or a thread and people can reply to it and stuff like that. That's what Discord really reminds me of these days, is like a very much more modern message board. And that's why that's why I fell in love with Discord. So
why don't you marry it?
I will right now. You want to be my best man?
No, I don't have money for wedding gifts. I'm sorry.
No, okay. Well, I'll wait. I'll postpone my marriage.
Hey, thanks, man. Just for me?
Just for you.
All right.
What do you got? I want to hear.
So, my news story is a little bit out there. Some people may have heard of this one. I'm gonna assume most people have not, though. But So the whole Brexit situation's been a thing going on still.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, like I would say a lot of people probably aren't even aware that it's still been a thing over here in the States because it's just very not talked about. Basically, though, so Brexit. Drivers' illegal ham sandwiches seized at Dutch border under new EU rules. So, apparently, under new EU rules, meat and dairy from outside the bloc will be quote-unquote confiscated and destroyed. A driver traveling from the UK had his ham sandwiches confiscated by Dutch border guards, who said they were now prohibited under post-Brexit rules. Essentially, what they asked him was, "Do you have meat on all the bread or not?" And he said that he did. So they said, "Yeah, okay. Well, then we have to take them all."
Man. So
he asked, "Can I just take the meat off and leave me the bread?" And he was informed that everything will be confiscated.
It's our lunchtime and we need it.
Yep. And the last thing that they told him was, "Welcome to Brexit, sir. I'm sorry."
I hate that so much. That's such a stupid thing.
I feel like for me that it seems like because my sister's brother or my brother-in-law they got married fairly recently, so I always make that mistake. But my brother-in-law did that when he was coming down here to the States one time. He had a lot of beef jerky, and they took like 2/3 of it. Because, he had a long drive, and he was like, yeah, I'll just bring a bunch of beef jerky. Like, that's a good snack to have for a road trip.
Yeah.
And they took, like, 2/3 of his jerky, and he was like, I don't know what the rule is that says I'm not allowed to bring jerky across the border, but they took most of it. And it just makes me think that in any of these cases, you just have these border guards that are just taking it because, like, they're hungry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what I think it is. It's just like, lunch break's coming up. Let's just take their food.
Yeah, I mean...
The missus forgot to pack me my lunch today.
Yeah, it's such a strange thing because of the fact that it's just like... what kind of a rule would say, like, yeah, you can't bring meat or cheese across the border? It's like, I would get that maybe if you're bringing, like... I don't know, a bunch of pounds and pounds of raw meat across the border because you went across the border to buy some because it was cheaper or something.
Yeah.
But if you're bringing literal freaking sandwiches that you made, like 5 or 6 sandwiches, I don't think that falls under the same, like, kind of, that falls under the same kind of wavelength. I feel like that's going to turn into, what do you call it? Like, one of those common sense laws. Like, obviously the law was made for one reason, but then you're gonna have these idiot guards, or you're gonna have, like, these assholes that are gonna just be like, nope, it applies across all situations. Doesn't matter.
That's when I would pull my car over to the side, kick back, and be like, all right, okay, and just sit there and eat everything that I have, and just smile and wave at them. And then when I'm done... Then I proceed.
Listen, don't fall into the trap of the one woman who downed a $200 bottle of cognac because she was told she couldn't bring it on a flight. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's not like she's going anywhere. She's not like she's the one who's flying the plane. So enjoy your flight.
Yeah, good Lord, though, I cannot imagine chugging down a full bottle of liquor and then getting on a plane.
I could probably maybe do a couple here and there, and then I'm gonna get on the flight and enjoy my flight.
Yeah. But, man.
But yeah, that's what I would do. Like, say if I just had, like, a couple of meats here and there, or, like, a sandwich, and they're not letting me bring it over, but, like, all right, okay. I'll pull it over and then start eating my sandwich. I'm like, this is good. You should really try some. But, oh, what's that? You can't because I'm eating it.
Then they just say they're not letting you across because, like, you now have that meat inside you. You've got to wait.
Exactly. They can't do anything about it.
So then they're gonna tell you can't come across.
Are they gonna pump? They're gonna pump
6
my stomach?
to 18 hours.
All right, fine. Then what I would do is I would gag myself and throw up all over them. Like, okay, there you go, you have it, and then head out.
then you're biologically assaulting an officer.
Damn it! I'm not gonna win this, am I? I just don't win anything. But
Goodness gracious.
that's funny though. It's funny, but it's also frustrating because it's just one of those dumb laws where it's like it's not. I don't see it hurting anybody. It's like it reminds me of when back in the day when me and my first wife would make sourdough bread, and we noticed that you can only get certain sourdough bread in certain parts of the United States. Like, if you try ordering a certain ingredient or sourdough bread, they're not going to give you what you ordered from across the state. They're going to give you what's actually closer locally in your area in the States. Does that make any sense? Like, we tried ordering something like further away in the States, which has different ingredients.
No, it makes sense in a way, I guess. I guess it's one of those things where it's probably like has to do with some kind of a freshness law, like you have to deliver within a certain radius, like because I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. All right, and with that, I guess we're going to go ahead and move on to our next segment.
The guest segment with our new admin, Alex.
I can talk. I'd love to talk. I'm not talking this damn thing over song.
All right, everybody. We are back. We had a couple technical issues before we got into the guest segment because I fucked something up. But Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to be back.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
So, me and Charles were discussing what would be a good topic for us to talk about near the end of the show, and we were talking about maybe some Gunfire Reborn and some Valheim.
Ooh, Valheim.
Yeah, I know.
The game that everyone addicted to right now.
Yep.
Yep, we've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of my friends playing it too, like my other friends. So it's really funny because it's definitely a game that's making its rounds at the moment.
It is such a good game. And for a game that's like, what is it, in just beta right now? Is that what it is?
Early access.
Yeah, it's still early access.
They developed it for like 2 years, and then EA, so they have some decent time on it.
I'm definitely very curious to see what's going to be added on in the future, because, so far, there's so much added to the game already as it is.
Yeah, how we encountered our first flying enemy today.
Yeah, we did. That was scary. I went to the swamp with Alex today, and I got scared.
Yeah, we now have a portal.
Yeah, we got a
You
portal
said there's
now.
You said there's a big booger in that swamp.
Well, that is true. There are a lot of big boogers in that swamp.
On the trees. We don't know how to get them yet. We tried shooting them with arrows. It didn't work.
To get something with like iron or something like that.
Yeah. I was spending I don't know what Alex was doing during this time, but I went out to go mine some copper, and every time I kept mining copper, this troll kept walking back up to me and just looking around. I had to go sneak away, wait for a couple of minutes, and he just walks back off. And then I go back, maybe mine 2 more copper ores, and he comes right back doing it again. I did this probably 10 times before my inventory was full. And then Alex is like, "Where's that troll at?"
Well, no, I was working on. We upgraded the smelting area.
Yeah.
And then I went with you and I took his block off.
Yeah, he throws his head right at me and it freaked me out. I was like, "Thank God, that's big."
Walk back up to you. I'm like, "Here you go." And you're like, "Oh God."
Oh, it's such a good game. I love this game.
Yeah, it is a very fun game.
I want to make t-shirts.
Yeah, right.
Saying we're Viking friends.
I don't think Vikings wear t-shirts.
Yeah, you're just completely missing the point.
I just want to get Viking tattooed.
Okay, look, you're walking a dangerous path right there.
Yeah.
Getting a Viking tattoo, people would ask if you're Danish. Then you would tell them no, and you'd say, "But I like to eat Danishes." Then they'd call you an idiot. And then you'd show them Valheim. Then they would understand. But up until then, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
You guys want to go get some drinks then, if none of those work?
I'd go get some mead. I could go for some mead right now.
Yeah, mead's pretty good.
Never had it.
It's basically it's just a pretty sweet alcoholic drink made from honey. It was the Vikings was one of the Vikings' drinks of choice whenever they would get drunk.
Yeah, we got that at the Renaissance Festival, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good.
Sounds good. Is it sweet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're done talking about Valheim.
Next thing.
Next topic. Charles, you want to talk about Gunfire Reborn?
Yeah, some of the other stuff that we've been playing a little bit of here lately is Gunfire Reborn. If you haven't played that game, it's also in early access, but it's kind of nice because they have it road mapped, and they've been sticking to the roadmap really well going forward. It is a first-person roguelite where, the objective is get your character more powered up, get your guns. Obviously, there's a wide variety of guns to choose from in the game, and there's a lot of different kinds of upgrades that you can do. My main complaint is that there is one guy who is mainly focused on explosives, and every time I play him, I can't get any damn explosive upgrades for the life of...
Well, I did that one time.
Yeah,
You had one round while we were playing, and you had a really good build going.
Yeah, it was one round out of, 12.
12.
12.
There are some things though in the game where it's pretty unfair. Where it's like, if you're waiting for somebody to revive you, for some reason there's going to be a time where your timer to revive seems to go by faster, or
I think that's just
it depends on how many times you go down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, the other thing is that like most roguelikes, it does have rounds where it effectively just decides, you know what, you're not winning. So
yeah, it tries to punish you.
Yeah, it literally just says hey, we want you to lose at this point. If you somehow survive, good job, but we're not going to let you.
Hey, I'm very proud of myself. I've actually beaten the third boss finally, so that's an accomplishment right there. I remember it took me... How long did it take me to actually get to the third boss? It took me quite a while.
It took us a few good tries, but that's also a testament just to the game itself, because obviously we've been playing with you, so...
Yeah. It's not an easy game. Not a hard game.
But definitely fun. You can actually use your controller with it, but I don't like it. I don't like using a controller with that game. It's not as smooth.
Yeah, it's not as smooth, but I'm more of a console gamer anyways, so I kind of rely on controllers.
Okay, who's your character that you depend on in this game?
Well, if I can get an explosive build, I'd go with a dog, because explosions.
I'm definitely, I don't know, see, the new character's really nice. The, Lu Wei, I think is his name, but just, to me, it's either him or the cat, because the initial cat, the Crown Prince, he, for any of you who haven't played, has an energy orb that causes damage, can cause a single explosion, and holds enemies in place temporarily. So it's a nice ability, and he's your main elemental-based character.
Yeah. And he has that nice... I was going to say, he has that nice slow as well, his grenades.
Yeah, yeah. And his grenades also make enemies weaker depending on the build that you're going with. So he's kind of amazing in that respect. But then the other newer character that they just put out this last month has a lot of promise too. Instead of throwing grenades, he shocks enemies with lightning. His main power is that he basically just calls down a thunderbolt to hit a single enemy for massive damage. And it recharges super quick. But it's one of those games... And it's those play styles with those two characters that I think I get along with best. Because, that's another thing to kind of think of, is that it's not just the game. It's being able to have a character that your play style can depend on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely like the cat because, mainly because I've been playing with him more than anything. But, his... I don't know. I really love his moves. I love using the energy orbs and all that. But... The cat, or the other one, which one is it? The new one.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder God.
Yeah, the Lu Wei or whatever his name is, I think.
Because I like using guns that are electrical. That might actually be something for me to consider down the road.
Definitely going along with the elemental weapons. It's kind of nice that they've also added in fairly recently just a couple things for the dog specifically, I feel like, because it's essentially exploding bullets if you're using a weapon that doesn't have an element.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that's just an assload of fun.
What's that one gun that the cat's holding in the screen? I was using that gun a while back.
Dragon Chaser. Yeah, it locks on enemies.
I love that gun.
It is a very nice gun. Like the homing weapons are overpowered just in the fact that they home, but not quite as powerful as other weapons, so it's still pretty balanced.
Yeah, I like that gun a lot. That's especially with the if you have the second boss would be the what's that one guy that does the tornadoes? Who is that?
The cat.
He's
the wind god, but I can't remember his name.
He's perfect to have that gun with because you can just run around and avoid the tornadoes and just keep shooting and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Well, that and the talisman would probably be good too, since that's an auto.
Yeah.
An auto.
Oh yeah, the talisman's nice. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but its elemental effects are pretty sweet.
I've actually been doing a lot better with the jump puzzles lately too.
Yeah, I knew you were big and strong. Don't worry.
Yeah. Now
You'll
I should
get
start
there.
making jump puzzles in Valheim. Get you training.
Oh god, jump puzzles in Valheim would be awful.
God, that would be terrible. Because I mean, just jumping takes up stamina. Everything takes stamina in this game.
Yeah. That's why you gotta train it.
I think the only puzzles I don't like in Gunfire Reborn, the one now that I don't like the most, are the balls.
The boulder.
Yes, because they have no pattern to them at all, and you could just be sitting there constantly getting hit by one boulder after the other.
Yeah, no, they actually do not have a definitive any kind of pattern. It's completely randomized, but it's also in part, if you're lagging, which you almost always will have at least like a second of lag, or not a second, but like, a millisecond or two. But that's literally just enough that you think that you can dodge a boulder, but you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, Alex, have you been doing anything interesting lately? Saw any good movies? Any other games that look of interest to you?
No, not really. Well, we did watch, I forget the name already.
Willy's Wonderland, yeah.
Willy's Wonderland last night, yeah. I don't know why. I wanted to say Willy Wonka.
Come with me, and you'll see a world of killer robots. They will be behind me.
And they'll kill me.
Wait.
So we kind of gave like a little spoiler-free review on that movie. You want to give an opinion on it?
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. It was fun to watch. I mean, I don't really want to say anything because I don't know what would be spoilers or not. So,
who was your favorite animatronic?
I know Charles.
Willy the Weasel. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who my favorite would be.
I kind of like the turtle one.
Well, the turtle one was funny just because he had the most speaking parts of the animatronics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably say Nighty Night then.
Nighty Night was pretty... he was there for a short time, but he was pretty damn funny.
Just because of the sword.
Sword.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing, kid? Get your sword!
Oh, and also, yes, if anybody's wondering, Nicolas Cage does not talk throughout the entire movie. Like, if you think he has, like, one or two lines, he has none. None at all.
I mean, he grunts. But that's
he's like Link. He's like Link. He just... Which is exactly how I wanted him to be.
Exactly. Silent protagonist all the way. That's what's so good about it.
Do you think Nicolas Cage, like, really enjoyed playing that role? Because, like, he's used to playing characters that have to have dialogue, but do you think, like, there's got to be some deleted scenes where he's trying not to laugh from being such a silent character and having to react with just having to, like, respond with his reactions, like facial interactions and stuff like that.
Kind of like I said, before, to me, it, if it were me, it would be my favorite role.
Oh, heck yeah.
Well, yeah, because you can do a lot with expressions. Like, if you have a really good actor who does, like, really good expressions, that's just an added bonus.
I want to... That's what I'm going to do one day. I'm going to make a film but everybody's a silent character, and they have to rely on their expressions.
Oh, going back to the old days.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
they already have that. It was called like A Quiet Place or something.
Oh, really?
Oh, that was a good movie though. But they did talk in it.
Yeah, they do talk in it, but a lot of the movie is they have to stay quiet because there's like weird sound engaging aliens or something. I don't know.
It's like, I don't remember. It's like these weird like mutant like creatures or whatever that are just like drawn to sound. So anything that has like a loud sound, they'll be drawn to.
That reminds me. Have you guys ever seen?
And then they give you a little nip.
Did you guys ever see the? Did you guys ever watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
I used to, but it was a long, long time ago.
I have not seen a single episode.
There's an episode about the Gentlemen, which is like these fairy tale creatures that look like Slender Man almost in a way. And the whole episode, everybody's quiet because they stole everybody's voice, and because sound hurts them. They don't like the sound of anything at all. And so what was really cool about that whole episode is that it's just silent throughout the entire episode, and it's really cool how they made that work.
It's really weird also because you watch an entire episode of silence, and then like at the very end, people start talking again, and it almost feels uncanny.
Yeah, it's jarring.
You know, it's kind of like I don't know if you guys ever experienced this, but whenever I go to visit my mom out in the country, like during this time of the year when it's like super cold, like, you know, there's nothing outside making noises, no birds, no nothing, and so there's like one lonely highway that's like right by their house, and at night there's no driving at all. And at night during this time of the year, if you're outside, it is like a deafening quiet. Like, it can make your ears ring. That's how quiet it is. And I've never experienced like actual fear like that before, because like I'm just sitting out there, you know, on my phone, and then I just kind of like take a break, and I'm like just sitting there trying to listen to nature, and I hear nothing at all, like not even a breeze, nothing. It's just super quiet. And that's a really terrifying feeling when you hear nothing.
I mean, I like that, but I'm also a weird person.
It's just weird because you don't hear, like, you know, you think you would hear something like, you know, like the wind or like leaves, you know, rustling around or something, but no, it's just deafening quiet to where it's eerie.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because we used to live up in New Hampshire, out in, well, the town was called Ware, and it was kind of out of pretty much everywhere, so you were just, you know, houses were probably like they were on acreages, so you had maybe like your neighbor was maybe like a couple blocks away. You had a lot of room.
I bet. Did you guys have like several acres?
Yeah, the house we lived on had quite a bit of land. We were also on a hill, so like the back of the house, we had a swing set in the back of the house that during when we would have snowstorms and stuff like that during winter, we would just sit on the swings and just swing off into the forest, because it was right behind our house, and we would just swing off the hill.
I love
Very
being
smart as kid.
I love the country. Like, I love being out, like, you know, away from the city every once in a while, especially at night. Like, that's a beautiful. If you ever want to see like a really beautiful night sky, go out in the country where there's hardly no lights, no nothing, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah, you get a lot of that in New Hampshire. Oh, excuse me.
Charles, you still alive?
No.
Charles, I command you to live again.
Okay, whatever. I guess so.
We made a special announcement for you, Alex. We wanted to congratulate you for the admin role on the Discord.
Oh, well, thank you.
You earned it, buddy.
Now you have all the power. You can ban Zach.
You can destroy and blow up the Discord.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to do that.
Oh yeah, I mean I would, but I don't know how.
But I'm not gonna.
Oh goodness. So any other big fun things we've all been doing lately? I've already talked about I quit my job, so I'll have a bit more freedom.
Yeah.
I guess depending on what goes on here in the future, heck, whenever Alex gets some of the moving stuff done, heck, I might even be moving around that time too. Might even be moving up to keep Alex company. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be a year of changes.
You guys are gonna be roomies.
Yeah, it might be.
I don't know about that. I feel like I might just have to sleep outside for a bit, just until some trust is established.
Oh, okay.
Alex brings you like a piece
There is
off.
a fire pit outside, so keep yourself warm.
All right, here I got you some starter logs,
The rest you're on your own.
and I also got you some tin foil so you can cook your food in it.
Isn't that great?
That actually is pretty good. Have you ever had a hobo dinner?
No.
No.
It's pretty darn good. It's literally you go out, you make a fire, you just have some tin foil. Typically you want some kind of meat to make like the grease for it. Then you just bring like, whatever vegetables and fruits even if you want to. Just you put everything into your tin foil, you wrap it up real good. And then you set a rock, like, not in the fire, but, like, right, like, against the fire almost. And then you just put down the foil, like, right on the edge of it and just let it sit for a little while. Maybe turn it once or twice if you think you need to. But it makes a really, really good, like, easy, really, really good easy meal for, like, your camping trip. You can even just like bring a can of fucking corn, really, or like a can of something, and just sit it down on the rock next to the fire if you really don't care what you're eating.
Yeah.
I'll bring a can of Spam.
Can of beans, whatever.
Yeah. I know that every once in a while we like to take like certain vegetables and stuff like that and wrap it up in tin foil and put it on the grill and have some.
Oh yeah. I mean, potatoes are one of the best things for bringing camping with you, because you can just buy a sack of potatoes.
You could
and
make
just like
a lot of different ingredients with potatoes.
Exactly.
Well, you just eat them whole if you really want to.
You can eat a whole raw potato if you start having sexual thoughts out there in the forest.
What?
You never seen that?
No.
There was this couple who they're so Christian that even though they're married, they still don't have sex. So, literally, the guy said that the way that he abstains from sexual thoughts is anytime he starts to have one, he just eats a whole raw potato to stave off the feeling.
I don't know if a potato's gonna get rid of my sexual tension.
Oh, listen, man, if it's a raw one and you're eating into it, I guess you just, like, kind of, like, I don't know, like, does he think he's eating ass when he does it, you think? Yes.
You think she tastes like potato?
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing. Is does his wife taste like a potato? I don't know.
I mean, he doesn't know, so.
Well, I mean, if they're eating potatoes all the time, she probably sweats like one, because you get that type of stuff when you eat stuff like that.
Yeah, it definitely one of the stranger, like, little stories.
I don't know if that relationship would last long with me. I'd be like, listen, something's gonna have to change, or I'm gonna have to get a divorce or something, or at least cheat on you, one of the two. Can we sign a
Whoa.
Don't cheat on your partner, people. That's not an actual thing you should do.
That's not cool.
Don't do that. People don't like cheaters.
Unless you tell them first and they're cool with it. Then it's just an open relationship.
Yeah, if
and
they're
that's
okay with
if that's what you
then
like.
Go for it. I mean, come on, let's face it. We've all been, well, not all of us, but those of you out there who've been cheated on, you know how much it hurts. So don't do it. Just don't be that kind of person. I've been cheated on.
Same.
It sucks.
I would need a girlfriend first in order for her to cheat on me, so...
This is also kind of why I'm glad I'm not in a relationship anymore. It's like, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about somebody nagging at me or wanting most of my time or wanting, or that constant fear is like, is she cheating on me? Is she seeing somebody else behind my back? She's not being faithful. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
That just makes me think of the memes of he must be thinking about other girls and she's like thinking about carrots or something. Can't think of a good thing.
He must be thinking about her right now, and then it's me sitting there like, what else can I do in Valheim? How do I tame a boar? I must know these things.
You get it caught into a cage, and then over hundreds of years, you will feed and domesticate it.
I don't have that kind of time. I need it to happen now.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Admin controls. Tame boar.
/ tame boar.
All right. Well, I think that should be just about it, guys.
Yeah, I think with that, it was a pleasure having you on the show, Alex, and I really hope that we get to hang out again.
Well, I mean, with the way that sounds, I don't know. You gotta be more happy to hang out with me.
Hey, man, let's hang out.
That doesn't sound genuine now.
Yeah. Now that he brought it up.
Okay, Crusty.
Hey!
Hey, kids. Shut up.
And with that, we want to thank Alex for joining the show, and we want to thank everybody for listening to the show.
We also want to thank you, viewer.
We want to thank Santa Claus, Jesus.
And we want to turn off the recording now.
Bye, everybody. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. What's Good Baby can be heard on Anchor FM, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and at our website at obscuredcartoons.com. Become a member on our Discord and join the fun and stay in touch with our community. Join the show as a special guest through the Discord and be heard. All links are provided in the description down below and on our website. Until next time, what's good, baby? Okay. Oh, that was gross.
You all right?
Yeah, that had some mucus to it. That was disgusting.
Is this really how we're going to start the show up today, bub?
No, I'm going to cut that out. Welcome back. We have somebody special on the show tonight. It's Alex. Skeletor, what do you think about Alex?
I think he's really good.
You didn't even do your Skeletor voice. Fuck you.
No, you're Skeletor.
Why would he refer to himself in the third person?
Because I wanted there to be two Skeletors. Just like
to me, it's funny. To me, it's funnier if you just say, "Hey, you're not doing a Skeletor voice." What do you mean? Yes, I am.
You're not doing. Well, I can't go with it now anymore.
Yeah, see, you're the one who screwed up.
Damn it. Can we redo this? Can we start over?
No.
Yes, let's start over.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
I want to. I'll put this in the bonus at the end.